Christopher Pyne says Bill Shorten and Sam Dastyari still don't understand what was so wrong about accepting donations. Courtesy The Today Show, Channel 9. Things got heated and voices were raised in a little more high-pitched than is usually befitting of a 6:30 a.m. discussion, when the defense industry minister took on his weekly one-air sparring partner Anthony Albanese on Today This Morning, starting the discussion about the hot political topic of foreign donations. Mr. Pyne expressed exasperation over the Labour Party's dealing with the debt scandal that's been brewing around Senator Sam Dastyari. People having personal debts paid is completely different to receiving a campaign donation. I've never had a personal debt paid, because it's wrong, he said. The fact that Sam Dastyari doesn't realize it's wrong and Bill Shorten doesn't realize it's wrong is a big problem, and Bill Shorten's already talking about bringing Sam back. They just don't get it. Mr. Pyne really fired up when the discussion turned to report the Chinese firm involved in paying a $1,600 bill for the Labour senator had also made donations to the Liberal Party. Top Education gave the Liberal Party $65.00 before Mr. Pyne, then Education Minister, extended the streamlined visa program from universities to the private sector. The Daily Telegraph reported today. Mr. Pyne lashed out at suggestions the company had received preferential treatment following the donations, insisting there was nothing wrong with the government receiving donations from Top Education. He said it was completely different to having a personal debt paid, and said he had never received a donation from Top Education, though host Karl Stefanovic said his dealings with the company looked completely sus. Karl: the only reasons they would have been given streamlined visa processing is they, along with 20 or so other education businesses in Australia, met the requirements that the public service decided were required to allow them to have streamlined visa processing. Nothing to do with the Liberal Party or the Labour Party for that matter, of the government of the day. So trying to link the two is completely wrong. An agitated Mr. Pyne then went on to accuse Stefanovic of defaming him by linking the issue with the Dastyari scandal. I don't receive donations, Karl. Donations come to the Liberal Party. I represent the Liberal Party in Parliament. I don't personally get donations put back in my bank account. And that's wrong. And that's what Labour doesn't get. He said. You've actually tried to put up a straw man, Karl, and it needs to be broken down. What you've said is wrong. Don't defame me on national television. A very amused Stefanovic hit back, laughing, saying, don't defame by saying I'm defaming you. That's not defamatory, you know that, Karl, he said. Opposition tourism spokesman Anthony Albanese was also forced to defend allegations he spent $3,000 of taxpayer funds going to two AFL Grand Finals to cheer on his team, the Hawks. He said the report was ridiculous, insisting he had travelled to Melbourne for his regular Today Show appearance and meetings with newspaper editors. Mr. Albanese insisted he didn't charge $1 single for transport or accommodation to get to or from the grand final. The issue of political donation reform has plagued federal politics this week since Mr. Dastyari's personal debt was revealed. The debt saga has led the senator to resign his frontbench position, and triggered calls for donation reform by both parties. Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull has flagged banning all corporations and unions from donating. Mr. Shorten has committed to proposing legislation to ban foreign donations when Parliament resumes next week.